chapter 6 we are going to study today, lines and angles. First let us understand what is line. A line can be extended indefinitely on both the directions. It can be extended on this side and this side also. It has no definite length. Then comes line segment. If you take part of this line, I take from here to here, I name it as AB. How many end points it has? It has 2 end points. So line segment is defined as it is part of a line having 2 end points. We can measure the length of any line segment. Then comes ray. I take a part of this line like this. You can see this ray has only one end point. Because arrowhead is there, it can be extended on this side. Whereas here there is no arrowhead, it cannot be extended. Therefore, a ray is also a part of a line with one end point and can be extended on one direction. Here also we cannot find the length of a ray. Then comes collinear points and non-collinear points. Collinear points and non-collinear points. I have drawn a line. On the line I have taken the points P, Q, R and S. We find all these 4 points, the given points lie on the same line. Therefore, P, Q, R and S are said to be collinear points. So, 3 or more points which lie on the same line are said to be collinear points. Just we have to check the given points are on the same line or not. I draw another line passing through S. I have taken a point T on it. If you consider the points Q, R, S, T, this group, if you consider, go through whether they lie on the same straight line or different straight line. You can find these 3 are on the same line, whereas this is on a separate line. Therefore, this group of points Q, R, S and T are said to be non-collinear points. So, if all the given points lie on the same straight line, they are called collinear. Out of the group, even if one does not lie on the same straight line, they are called non-collinear points. So, in short, we define if the given points, if 3 or more points, if they lie on a same line, the points are said to be collinear, otherwise the points are said to be non-collinear. Minimum 3 points we should consider here. Therefore, we define 3 or more than 3 points. If they lie on the same straight line, they are called collinear, otherwise they are called non-collinear points. Now let us see about angle. What is an angle? If you find 2 rays originate from the same end point. Here I have drawn a ray PQ. Also I have drawn a ray PR. So PQ and PR are different rays. Both the rays originate from the same point P. Therefore an angle is formed here. So PQ and PR originate from the same end point. Can you name the end point? It is P. Same end point P. Therefore, which angle is formed? QPR angle is formed. Then angle can be named in 3 different ways. We can start with Q. We can go like this. So angle QPR. Or we can start with R. We can name like this. Angle RPQ. Or we can take the single alphabet also to denote the angle. So PQ and PR originate from the same endpoint P. The angle formed is angle QPR, or angle RPQ, or we say it is angle P. The rays PQ and PR are called arms of the angle. Ray PQ and ray PR. When we write the ray, it originates from P, therefore we should write ray PQ and ray PR. So PQ and PR are arms of angle P. The same end point is called vertex of the angle. Therefore, P is vertex. P is vertex. Hope you understood. When two rays originate from the same point, an angle is formed. The angle can be named in three different ways. We can name it as QPR, or it can be named as RPQ, or we can use a single alphabet P only. Ray PQ and ray PR are called arms of the angle, and P is called vertex of the angle. Next, let us see types of the angles. This also you must have studied in the lower classes. Types of the angles. What are the types of the angles? We know the first one is acute angle. Acute angle. If an angle measures between 0 and 90, then that angle is called acute angle. Then comes right angle. If an angle measures, or if an angle equals exactly 90 degree, an angle equals exactly 90 degree is called right angle. Then comes obtuse angle. What is obtuse angle? Any angle which measures between 90 and 180. Between 90 and 180 is called an obtuse angle. Then comes straight angle. Straight angle. An angle measures, if an angle measures exactly equal to 180 degree, exactly equal to 180 degree, the angle is called straight angle. Then comes reflex angle. Reflex angle. An angle measures between, all those are given in the textbook, measures between 180 and 360 is called a reflex angle. So what are the types we have learned? Acute angle, right angle, obtuse angle, straight angle and reflex. If you find the measure between 0 and 90, it is called acute. If it is exactly equal to 90 degree, it is called right angle. If it measures between 90 and 180, it is called obtuse. If it is exactly equal to 180 degree, it is called straight angle. And any angle which measures between 180 and 360 is called reflex angle. Next, we are going to recall what are complementary angles and supplementary angles. Complementary. If you find sum of measures of two angles, sum of measures of two angles, if sum of measures of two angles equals 90 degree, then the angles are said to be complementary angles. For example, you can take 60 and 30. 60 plus 30, we know it is equal to 90. So sum of these two angles equal to 90 degree. Therefore, these two angles are said to be complementary angles. So, any two angles whose sum of measures equals 90 degree are said to be complementary angles. 60 is the complement of 30 and 30 is the complement of 60. So, to find complement of any angle, we have to subtract from 90. It is given 40, find the complement of 40. How do we find? 90 minus 40. So, 50 is the complement of 40. So, to find complement of any number or any term, remember, we should subtract the given from 90. Then comes supplementary angles. Supplementary angles. If the sum of measures of two angles equals 180 degree, then the angles are said to be supplementary angles. For example, 130 plus 50 is equal to 180, we know. So, sum of these two measures equals 180 degree. Therefore, 130 and 50 are called supplementary angles. 130 is the supplement of 50 and 50 is the supplement of 130. So, to find supplement of any given angle, we have to subtract from 180. Next, let us understand what are adjacent angles. Adjacent. We know the meaning of adjacent and the meaning of opposite. What we are going to learn is adjacent angles. Here let us understand with the figure. I consider angle BAC and angle CAD. BAC is this angle, CAD is this angle, right? I find arms of angle BAC. Arms of angle BAC. Which are the angles of angle B? Arms of angle BAC. It is ray AB, ray AB and ray AC. This angle I have taken arms are AB or AC. Then I take arms of angle CAD. Arms of angle CAD or CAD is this angle, right? Which are the arms? AC is one of the arm, AD is another arm. AC and AD. You can see these two angles originate from the same point A, originate from the same end point A. And the arms, there is a common arm for these two angles. Which is the common arm? AC is the common arm. AC is the common arm. That is, which is present in both the places. AC is the common arm. Which are the uncommon arms? What do you mean by uncommon? Which is not common is called uncommon. Which are the uncommon arms? AB and AD. So, this uncommon arm AB and AD lie on the different side of AC. This is the common arm. The uncommon arm should be on the different side of AC. Means you can find AB is below AC and AD is above AC. Such angles are said to be adjacent angles. Two angles, if they originate from the same point and if they have a common arm and if the uncommon arm lie on the different side of the common arm, then the angles are said to be adjacent angles. Adjacent angles. Here we have considered angle BAC and angle CAD. These two are said to be adjacent angles. Condition number 1, they have the same end point. They originate from the same point. AC is the arm common for both the angles. There is a common arm. These two are the uncommon arms. The uncommon arms are on the different side of the common arm. Therefore, these two angles are said to be adjacent angles. So, two angles originate from the same point if they have a common arm, and if the uncommon arm is on the different side of the common arm, then the angles are said to be adjacent angles. Then comes linear pair. Linear pair. If you find two adjacent angles, yes, BAC is one angle, CAD is another angle, right? They originate from the same point A. These two angles have a common arm AC. AB and AD are uncommon arms. They lie on the different side of AC, right? So, no doubt these two are adjacent angles only. But if the uncommon arms form a line, you can see AB is one uncommon arm, AD is another uncommon arm, it forms a line, forms a straight line. In such cases, the adjacent angles are said to be what kind of angles? Angles of linear pair. So, two adjacent angles, if they have uncommon arms on a line, then the angles are said to be angles of linear pair. So, in adjacent angles, the uncommon need not form a line, whereas in a linear pair, uncommon arms should form a line. If you measure angles of linear pair, you will find it is equal to 180 degree because it is a straight line. Here is the common arm. Because it is a straight line, what will be sum of these two angles? It is equal to 180 degree. So, sum of angles of a linear pair is always equal to 180 degree. This also we should remember. Now, let us understand what are vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles. We know when two straight lines, when two lines intersect at a point, say it is point O, four angles are formed. AB is a line, CD is another line. These two lines, they intersect at a point O. So, four angles are formed. Out of the four angles, AOD, this angle, and its opposite angle, angle BOC, is a pair of vertically opposite angle. Similarly, another pair, angle AOC and angle BOD is another pair of vertically opposite angles. So, when two lines intersect, four angles are formed. Out of the four, we will get two pairs of vertically opposite angles. This is one pair of vertically opposite angles, and this is another pair of vertically opposite angles. When two lines are given, there exists two cases. Either the lines will intersect or they do not intersect. For two lines given, there exist two cases. The lines intersect. Second one, the lines do not intersect. The lines do not intersect. In case of the lines intersect, they will intersect at one point only, right? the lines intersect, they will intersect like this, one point only. Suppose if you extend the lines this side, anywhere, if you extend, you cannot make the lines to intersect at some other point. Not possible. Therefore, if two lines intersect, they will intersect only at one point. The second case is the lines do not intersect. The lines do not intersect. Either we say the lines do not intersect, or we say the lines are parallel lines. If you extend the lines to any length on both the directions, both the lines I am talking, both the lines if you extend to any length, they are not going to meet, they are not going to intersect. Such lines are called parallel lines. So two lines which do not intersect each other, however far they are produced on both the sides, are said to be parallel lines. Between parallel lines, if you measure the perpendicular distance, if you are measuring at any point, if you measure the perpendicular distance between the parallel lines, suppose if this is 5 centimeter, you will find all the perpendicular distance between the same two parallel lines will be the same. So perpendicular distance between a pair of parallel lines remains same even if you measure at any place. Hope you understood all the points which are explained. Should read the book thoroughly. As the definitions, points, everything is given in the textbook. You can copy from the textbook also, or using the video also, you can write the definitions which are explained. Now we go to axiom 6.1. The axiom says that if a ray stands on a line then the sum of two adjacent angles so formed is 180 degree. Let us understand this by drawing a figure. If a ray stands on a line, so I draw a line AB is drawn. On the line we have drawn a ray, say it is ray CD. So if a ray stands on a line, then sum of the two adjacent angles so formed is 180 degree. The axiom says that if a ray is drawn on a line, these two are the adjacent angles formed. If we measure these two adjacent angles, what is the measure we will get? It is equal to 180 degree. So this we are going to use in sums also, or improve that question also. So you should remember this axiom. If a ray stands on a line, the sum of the two adjacent angles is always equal to 180 degree. Next we proceed to axiom 6.2. 6.2 is the reverse of this, called converse. If the sum of two adjacent angles is 180 degree, then the non-common arms of the angles form a line. So here this is given. We don't know about this. It is given this is 80 and this is 100. Also said that these two are adjacent angles. Right? So adjacent angles forms how many degrees? 180 degree. So if any two angles forms 180 degree, then the non-common arms, we know CD is the common arm which is present in both the angles, therefore it is called common arm. Which are the uncommon arms? Ray CB and ray CA, right? This we will find it on the same straight line. It forms a straight line. You can see ACB forms a straight line. So this is nothing but converse of this. If a ray stands on a line, then sum of the adjacent angles so formed is 180 degree. Conversely, if you find sum of these two angles equal to 180 degree, definitely the uncommon arms form a straight line. That is axiom 6.2. So geometry is very simple, children. Only thing, we should read everyday portion, we should write and see, and we should remember the axioms, definitions, figures also. If you remember, geometry will be very easy. All the points you should read before we start the next session.